The text came at 6:14 p.m. on a Thursday. I was standing in my garage, still in my work boots, holding a cold beer I hadn't opened yet. My phone buzzed on the workbench. Marcus, your wife just checked in with another man. Hilton Garden, room 412. I'm in the lobby. You want photos? I stared at that message for 11 seconds. I counted them. My wife, Rachel, had left Tuesday morning for a girls' trip to Nashville. 4 days, 3 nights. Her college roommates, Jess, Dana, and Brianna. They did this every year. The bachelorette bars, the rooftop restaurants, the matching cowboy hats they'd post on Instagram. The Hilton Garden Inn in the message wasn't in Nashville. It was in Charlotte, North Carolina, 40 minutes from our house. I typed back one word: everything. Then I set down the beer I never opened, walked inside, sat at my kitchen table in the silence of a house I suddenly didn't recognize, and started making a list. Not of what I'd lost, of what I was going to do next. If you want to know what was on that list and why Rachel's girls' trip ended with her standing in a parking lot at 9 p.m., surrounded by every person she'd ever lied to, hit subscribe. Because what I built in the next 72 hours wasn't a confrontation, it was a controlled demolition. My name is Cole Hargrove. I'm 40 years old. I live in Concord, North Carolina, about 40 minutes outside Charlotte. I'm a structural engineer. I spend my days figuring out what holds buildings together and what makes them fall apart. Turns out that skill set transfers. Rachel and I met 12 years ago at a mutual friend's cookout. She was a physical therapist, funny, warm, the kind of person who remembered everyone's birthday and showed up with the right bottle of wine. We dated for 2 years, got married in a vineyard outside Nashville, bought a 4-bedroom house in a neighborhood with good schools, even though we didn't have kids yet. We were solid, or I thought we were. I'm a structural engineer. I know the difference between a building that looks stable and one that actually is. I should have been running load calculations on my own marriage. I wasn't paying attention. Let me back up 8 months. That's when the first crack appeared. Rachel had always been social, book club, yoga, happy hours with her PT colleagues. But 8 months ago, the frequency shifted. More nights out, more weekends with the girls, more events I wasn't invited to, wasn't really told about, just informed of after the fact. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm going to Jess's Saturday. Dana's having people over Friday. I'll probably be late. Brianna got us tickets to that concert. I told you about it. She hadn't told me about it, but I let it go. Rachel had always had a full social life. I wasn't the jealous type. I trusted her.
Then 3 months ago, something changed in the texture of things. She started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. Not on the nightstand, under the pillow. I noticed it the first night it happened. Didn't say anything. Noticed it again the second night. The third night, I asked casually, "Why's your phone under there?" "Oh, I set an early alarm. Didn't want it to wake you." Reasonable. Believable. I believed it. But I'm an engineer. I notice structural anomalies. And once I started noticing, I couldn't stop. The gym bag that came home smelling like cologne I didn't own. The credit card charge at a restaurant I'd never heard of on a Tuesday night she'd told me she was working late. The way she'd started laughing differently at her phone. Not the scroll and smirk of someone watching videos, but the private, contained smile of someone reading something meant only for them. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I called Marcus instead. Marcus Webb had been a Mecklenburg County detective for 14 years before he went private. My college roommate had used him during his divorce. He's expensive, my roommate had said, but he doesn't miss anything. I met Marcus at a coffee shop 3 months ago, told him what I'd noticed, showed him the credit card charge, the restaurant I didn't recognize. He nodded slowly, like I was describing a weather pattern he'd seen 100 times before. "How long do you want me to run surveillance?" "Until I know the truth. That could be a week, could be a month. I don't care. I need to know. He slid a contract across the table. I signed it. That was 12 weeks ago. For 12 weeks, Marcus followed my wife, documented her movements, photographed her comings and goings, built a file so thorough it would have made a federal prosecutor comfortable. And for 12 weeks, he found nothing definitive. Lunches with colleagues, yoga classes that checked out, girls' nights that matched the stories she told me. I started to think I was wrong. Started to think I'd wasted money on paranoia. Then came the Nashville trip. Rachel had been planning it for 6 weeks. She showed me the Airbnb listing, a cute 3-bedroom in East Nashville, walking distance to Broadway. She showed me the group chat with Jess, Dana, and Brianna, the itinerary they'd built, the restaurant reservations. It looked real. It felt real. I told Marcus about the trip. She'll be gone Tuesday through Friday, Nashville. You want me to follow her? I hesitated. Yeah, I know it sounds paranoid. It doesn't, he said flatly. It sounds like a husband who wants to know the truth. Tuesday morning, I drove Rachel to the airport. She had a rolling carry-on, a tote bag, her Nashville playlist already going through her earpods. She kissed me at the curb. I'll miss you. Have fun, I said. Send me pictures. Always do. She disappeared through the sliding doors. I drove home, went to work, came home, ate dinner alone. She texted me photos that night. The Airbnb, a neon sign at a bar, her and Jess with matching drinks. Everything looked exactly right. Wednesday came and went. More photos, more texts. Having the best time. Miss you, though.
Thursday at 6:14 p.m. Marcus texted me from a hotel lobby 40 minutes from our house. Your wife just checked in with another man. I sat at that kitchen table for 20 minutes, not crying, not raging, thinking. I'm a structural engineer. When a building fails, you don't just tear it down in a panic. You assess the damage first. You understand the full scope of the failure. You figure out what's salvageable and what needs to come down completely. My marriage needed to come down completely, but I was going to do it right. I called Marcus. Tell me everything. She landed at Charlotte Douglas at 4:50 p.m. on a direct flight from Nashville. She was in Nashville, I confirmed that. She flew there Tuesday, stayed 2 nights, then flew back here this afternoon instead of going home. She flew back early. She told you she'd be home Friday. She came back Thursday and went straight to the hotel. Who's the man? His name is Dominic Reyes, 37 years old. He's a physical therapist, works at a sports medicine clinic in Ballantyne. A physical therapist? Of course. How long have you had eyes on him? I picked him up 2 weeks ago. He's been careful, they both have, but the hotel is sloppy. They checked in together. His name's on the reservation. Didn't even use a fake. How long has this been going on? A pause. Based on what I've documented, at least 5 months, probably longer. 5 months. I did the math. 5 months ago, Rachel had started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. Marcus, I need everything. Every photo, every timestamp, every piece of documentation you have, tonight. I'll have it to you in an hour. And I need you to stay at that hotel. How long? Until I tell you to leave. I hung up, opened my laptop, started making the list. Here's what I knew about Dominic Reyes in the next 45 minutes, because I'm an engineer, and engineers research before they act. He was 37, divorced, no kids. He'd been at the Ballantyne Sports Medicine Clinic for 3 years. Before that, he'd worked at a PT practice in Charlotte where, and this is where it got interesting, Rachel had done her clinical rotation 11 years ago. They'd known each other for 11 years. I sat with that for a moment. Then I kept going. Dominic had a LinkedIn profile, an Instagram that was public, and a Facebook he hadn't updated since 2019. His Instagram had 847 followers. He posted workout content, hiking photos, the occasional sunset.
And 6 weeks ago, he'd posted a photo from a rooftop bar in Nashville. No caption, just a location tag. I zoomed in on the background. Rachel wasn't in the photo, but the bar was one I recognized, the same one she sent me a photo from that Tuesday night. Same neon sign, same view. She'd been with him in Nashville.
The girls' trip wasn't a girls' trip. It was a cover story. I picked up my phone and called Jess. Jess and I had always gotten along. She was one of Rachel's oldest friends, and she'd always been decent to me, genuine, warm, the kind of person who asked follow-up questions and remembered the answers. She picked up on the second ring. "Cole? Hey, is everything okay?" "Hey, Jess." I kept my voice easy, casual. "Quick question. Did you guys have fun in Nashville?" A pause, barely a half second, but I caught it. "Oh yeah, it was so good. We needed that trip." "Rachel said you guys went to that rooftop bar on Broadway?" "Yeah, it was amazing." "Which one?" "She sent me a photo, but I couldn't read the sign." Another pause, longer this time. I don't remember the name. There were a few." "Right. Hey, what night did you fly home?" Silence. "Jess. Cole, Was Rachel with you in Nashville?" The silence that followed told me everything. "Cole, I'm sorry. She asked me to." "I know," I said quietly. "I know she asked you. I'm not angry at you. I just needed to confirm." "Are you okay?" "I will be. Thanks, Jess." I hung up. So, Jess knew, which meant Dana probably knew, which meant Brianna probably knew. My wife had recruited her 3 closest friends to build her an alibi. I added that to the list. Marcus sent the file at 8:03 p.m. I opened it at my kitchen table with a glass of water I wasn't drinking. 47 photographs, 12 pages of SIM-stamped surveillance notes, hotel records, restaurant receipts, a log of every documented meeting between Rachel and Dominic Reyes going back 11 weeks. I went through every page. They'd been careful, mostly. Different restaurants each time, always paid cash, never the same hotel twice. But Marcus was better than careful. He'd gotten them at a farmer's market in South End, her hand in his. At a trailhead in the Uwharrie National Forest, his arm around her shoulders. At a wine bar in Noda, their heads bent together over a shared phone screen, both of them laughing. In one photo, taken through a restaurant window, she was wearing the necklace I'd given her for our 10th anniversary. I closed the file, sat in the silence. Then I opened it again and started building my own document. I'm a structural engineer. I build things that are meant to last, but I also know how to take something apart in a way that's clean, complete, and leaves no question about what failed and why. I worked until midnight.
Friday morning, I called my attorney. Her name was Patricia Holt. Family law, 12 years. Reputation for being methodical and merciless in exactly the right proportions. I'd looked her up 3 weeks ago, just in case. I'd never called. I called now. "Mr. Hargrove." Her voice was measured, professional. "Tell me what you have." I told her. 47 photographs, 11 weeks of surveillance, hotel records, the Nashville cover story, the friends who'd provided the alibi. "The alibi network is significant," she said. "It demonstrates premeditation. This wasn't a spontaneous mistake. This was organized deception." "What does that mean for the divorce?" "North Carolina recognizes fault-based divorce. Adultery is a factor in alimony determinations. With this level of documentation, your wife's ability to claim spousal support is severely compromised." "What about the house?" "Tell me about the house." I told her. We'd bought it together, both names on the deed, both contributing to the mortgage, standard marital asset.
We'll argue equitable distribution with an adjustment for marital misconduct. It's not guaranteed, but with this evidence, we have strong grounds. File today, I said. Are you sure you don't want to? File today. Understood. She'll be served Monday morning. Actually, I said, I want her served tonight. A pause. Tonight? She's at the Hilton Garden Inn in Charlotte, room 412. My PI is in the lobby. Patricia was quiet for a moment. Then, I'll make some calls. At 9:07 p.m. Friday, Marcus texted me. Process server is here. You sure about this? I looked around my kitchen, the house we'd bought together, the photos on the refrigerator, the coffee mug she'd gotten me that said "World's Okayest Engineer" that I'd used every morning for 3 years. Do it, I typed. 4 minutes later, my phone rang. Rachel. I let it ring. She called again. I let it ring. A text. Cole, what is this? Call me. Another. This isn't what you think. Another. Please, I can explain. I turned my phone face down and went to bed. I slept 6 hours. Saturday morning, I was on my back porch with coffee when she pulled into the driveway. She still had her overnight bag, her eyes red, her hair pulled back, wearing the same clothes she'd left the hotel in. She looked like someone who'd been crying for 12 hours and had run out of tears. She stood at the back door. I didn't open it. She opened it herself. Cole. Hey. She sat down across from me. Didn't speak for a long moment. How long have you known? 3 months. She closed her eyes. I hired a PI the day I noticed your phone under the pillow, I said. I've had documentation for 11 weeks. Cole? The Nashville trip was a cover. Jess confirmed it. You flew back early to spend Thursday night with Dominic at the Hilton. She flinched when I said his name. How long? I asked. She looked at the table. 8 months. 8 months. 2 more than Marcus had documented. Were you going to tell me? She was quiet. Were you going to leave, or were you just going to keep going? I don't know, she whispered. You don't know. I nodded slowly. 8 months of lying to my face, recruiting your friends to cover for you, flying back early from a fake girls' trip to spend the night with him, and you don't know? I'm sorry. I know you are. We can. No. My voice was quiet, completely level. We can't. Patricia filed yesterday. You've been served. Everything goes through her now. Rachel's face crumpled. You're not even going to fight for us. I looked at her. Rachel, you spent 8 months fighting against us. I'm just finishing what you started. She started crying, real crying, the kind that comes from somewhere deep, the kind that isn't performance. I felt something. Of course I did. 12 years. You don't turn that off. But I also felt something else. The same thing I feel when I finished assessing a structure and confirmed what I already knew. Clarity. You should go, I said. Patricia will be in touch. She sat there for another minute. Then she picked up her bag, walked through the kitchen, and left. I heard her car back out of the driveway. I finished my coffee. The divorce took 5 months. Rachel hired an attorney named Greg Farrow, who came in aggressive and left quietly. Patricia had the documentation, the surveillance file, the alibi network, the hotel records, the Nashville timeline. Every time Greg pushed, Patricia laid another photograph on the table. Rachel stopped pushing after the 3rd session. In the end, the house sold, proceeds split with an adjustment in my favor for marital misconduct. No alimony. Patricia had argued successfully that Rachel's earning capacity as a licensed PT was substantial and that her conduct disqualified her for support. We split the retirement accounts down the middle. She kept her car, I kept mine. She moved into an apartment in South Charlotte. Dominic Reyes, I heard through mutual channels, had ended things when the divorce became public. Turns out he'd told Rachel he was ready to be with her openly. When openly arrived, he wasn't. I wasn't surprised. Men like Dominic Reyes are only brave in hotel rooms. Jess called me 2 months after the divorce was final. "I owe you an apology," she said. "You don't." "I do. I covered for her. I lied to you. I felt sick about it for months." "Jess, you were loyal to your friend. I understand that." "You were my friend, too." Her voice broke slightly. "I should have said something." "Maybe, but that's done now." "Are you okay?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. "Yeah," I said. "I actually am." And I meant it.
6 months after the divorce, I was at a structural engineering conference in Raleigh when I met a woman named Simone. She was a civil engineer, worked for a firm that specialized in bridge rehabilitation. We ended up at the same breakout session, load distribution in aging infrastructure, and spent 20 minutes arguing about a case study in a way that felt more like flirting than I expected. We got dinner that night, talked for 4 hours. She didn't ask about my personal life. I didn't volunteer it. She just knew me as Cole, structural engineer, conference attendee, apparently passionate about load distribution methodology. On the drive home, I realized I'd laughed more in 4 hours than I had in the last year of my marriage. That felt like data worth noting. A year after the divorce, I was at my desk reviewing plans for a parking structure in uptown Charlotte when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Mr. Hargrove, you don't know me. My name is Kevin Reyes, Dominic's brother. I wanted to let you know he's going through his own divorce now. His wife found out about a different woman, 3rd one in 4 years. I thought you should know your wife wasn't special to him. She was just next." I stared at that message for a long time. Then I typed, "Thank you for telling me. I hope your family is okay." I set the phone down and went back to my plans. Rachel wasn't special to him. She'd blown up 12 years for a man who collected women like frequent flyer miles and cashed them in when the boarding call came. I didn't feel satisfaction about that. I felt something quieter. Confirmation. People ask me if I regret hiring Marcus, if I regret the surveillance, the documentation, the precision of how it all unfolded. I don't. Not because I wanted Rachel to suffer. I didn't. I wanted the truth. And the truth, once I had it, gave me the ability to act deliberately instead of reactively, to protect myself legally, financially, emotionally, to end things cleanly instead of messily. Rachel wanted something I apparently wasn't giving her. I'll never fully know what that was. Maybe she didn't know either. But here's what I do know. I'm a structural engineer. I've spent 20 years understanding what holds things together and what tears them apart. And the one thing I've learned in buildings and in marriages is that you can't fix a foundation that was secretly compromised for 8 months. You assess the damage, you document it completely, and then you build something better on ground that's actually solid. That's not revenge. That's engineering. If this story hit home, comment, "I assessed the damage." If you've ever trusted someone who was quietly building an exit while you were building a life, this one's for you. Hit subscribe, because the best revenge isn't catching them. It's what you build after.